You know, I think it was the great Abraham Lincoln that said, "A clean bike is a happy bike." So today we're going to talk about cleaning your ride, especially in the spring. This is important. All the salt and debris that's kicked up on here. Before we get started, you're going to need some of the things I like to use: a bucket, some rags, a bunch of different kinds of brushes. This is a chain cleaner. I'll show you how we're going to use that later. And then some sort of degreaser agent. This White Lightning stuff I think is actually from Walmart. This super clean stuff you can buy online, but dissolves grease, it's great. And then an ordinary garden hose would be great. Now I have a maintenance rack here, which makes things a lot slicker. I can spin the gears and everything like that and make it easier to clean. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can flip your bike upside down and do the same thing. First thing I like to do is spray the bike thoroughly with some degreaser, and I really like to coat this thing up. Degreaser everywhere. Just spray it thoroughly and don't worry about overspraying it. Next, you want to do the water. The one thing you don't want to do is pressure wash. You want just kind of a light, showery mist on the bike. Spray the bike all over and get it nice and clean. Do a good job of spraying. Now I like to do another coat of some sort of soap or degreaser or anything, kind of clean up that bike, and we're going to actually scrub it with a washcloth now. Now you want to scrub everything pretty thoroughly with that soap on there, and make sure you get everything really good. Don't worry about the chain and the gears right now. We'll worry about those a little bit later. You also want to inspect your gears. As you can see right here, I'm starting to see a little bit of wearing down on my rear cassette. It shouldn't be a problem now, but eventually that could be something that leads to some bad shifting. You might need to replace your whole cassette if that gets too wore down. Also, look at your derailleurs. A lot of times these get gummed up with a lot of stuff. It's going to help you shift a lot smoother if those are free of all debris. There's not a really good way to get in this area, so I actually use an old bottle brush, and you can actually scrub in there and get that area. You can also do this over your rear cassette, kind of scrubbing in those hard to reach places. Remember, you got a front too. Always make sure your brakes are very clean, and then this is a good point to make sure that they're rubbing in the right place. Make sure that they're rubbing actually on the rim and not the tire. So this is a little gadget. It's a little chain cleaner. It's pretty inexpensive. I think this is another Walmart purchase or online, but it actually works pretty well. There are some people who think that the only way to really clean a chain is to take it off and soak it in oil. However, after I do this with the chain, I feel like my bike rides a lot smoother. So what I do is I take some of the degreaser agent and I actually spray it in the chain cleaner here, fill it up a little way, and then I'll run the chain through. You really don't need a ton of it, just about that much. Those wheels are going to pick up that stuff and actually spread it through the chain. So this is a hard thing to actually hold the camera and demonstrate, but the chain cleaner actually just snaps around there. This wheel pushes the chain down and these two wheels push the chain up, and then you basically just want to pedal, although I probably won't be able to do this one-handed, and the chain will actually work its way through the chain cleaner. Once you get your bike to your liking, you're going to want to actually dry everything off. Drying is just as important. You don't want any wet things putting your bike away wet. And if you have an opportunity to be out in the sun, you can dry it out in the sun as well. So I'm going to dry everything off, and then there's one more step and I'll be done. So my last step here is lubing up the chain. This is very important. I'm not going to be able to do it while holding the camera again, but I'm just going to drop this on the chain as I run the chain through the gears.